Hi, I'm Tyson.
I'm Colin.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Adam.
We're the Gamesmiths, and we just got done playing the Rise of the Monarch scenario and want to talk to you a little bit about our experience. We're going to go through these questions once again, and we're going to talk about what our experience was. Starting with accessibility. Was the game too simple, overly complex? It felt, for me, about the same. It was, about the same complexity level.
I agree.
Yeah, I would say there was a little bit more depth added by having the win condition be the money, because it seemed like there were more decisions to make. Like attacking versus banking seemed more.
But I didn't think that was complexity.
But I didn't think it made it overly complex. But it did add a little bit more depth.
I don't think it's complexity. Yeah,
it's depth of strategy, but I don't think it's complexity.
Not noticeable.
The understanding of card drafting give player an edge. Once again, if you're really talking about card drafting, no, not really. And if you're talking about deck building in general, maybe a little bit. But
Colin took an interesting strategy that surprised me. I didn't think any of us could keep up on the banking with you because of your ability, but Colin really did for a while.
Well, the thing is, I also had a bunch of 4 and 5s that really helped me.
That's true.
I
got rid of buy off the bat.
I was able to buy. That's all I had was
high.
I had 1 3, 2 5s, and a 4. So I bought those and I pitched everything else, the 2s, the 3s. So all I had I only had 4 cards in my deck, so I knew I was going to draw the same hand every time. But it ended up screwing me over going first. Going first, actually, I feel like screwed me over because it made me go.
Turned you into a target.
Yeah, it turned me into a target because I had the highest amount of money, and then it ended up slowing me down and kind of stalling me out for more than half of the game, I think.
So do you feel that during the game you were on an even playing field with your opponents? I'm going to say no on this one, only because your ability, your asymmetric ability, definitely allowed you to skyrocket. It was designed to do really well in this scenario, and it was up to us to stop you and kill you, which either meant you're going to die really quickly or you're going to win.
And I said this in game, and I'll say it again to make it real clear. He can bank and defend. I couldn't bank and attack. So to just attack as fast as I could, which was my only viable strategy, I had to give up on banking, which allowed me to not put out more ships and prevented me from doing my attacky strategy. Whereas just you banking, you could put out a bunch of ships. You had booster cards,
I had extra cards to draw.
And you could do more. You can defend.
Which makes it you rely on somebody else to help support take somebody down.
Yeah.
So
I felt really disadvantaged.
These are tough. These advantages, once you start getting them, they just turn into a real kind of runaway issue.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to team up to take this person down, and I don't feel there's like a catch-up mechanic here. I think the leader starts pulling away a little quickly. So do all players have access to the right information to make informed decisions?
Yes.
I'd say so. Yeah, no real change from last time over the maybe too much information that we went over. Can a player mitigate the effect of a few bad turns during the game?
No, this is too short.
No, I think
bad turn.
I think for me, it was
or even
about
an
the same
unlucky
as last
turn.
time.
I couldn't catch up from an unlucky turn either.
I couldn't.
But for me,
I
it was
needed
the
to
same.
draw every time I had to draw my booster to get a 6 attack to kill someone in 3 turns. So I had to get lucky. I had to get all the right cards. I had to play them exactly right, or else I was out of
I was
the
even
game.
using the trader ability to draw 2 cards, and it still was not getting.
And you
what
made
I
a couple
needed.
wrong moves, and it completely put you out. So no recovery.
There was no recovery.
Well,
I
it
was
put
able
you
to-
in this weird limbo state where you could neither put out ships to help kill, and you could neither risk banking much to get ahead because you were so weakened that you would die.
I was stuck in a mercy position where they had me. I knew I was dead, and
You just had to play dead, essentially.
yeah.
They knew I was no threat at that point. So
Yeah.
it just kind of took me out of the game for half of it.
Yeah.
Are the rules easy to understand? The only new cards, honestly, actually, there could be a little clarification on here. The Royal Palace, did I do it correctly, and as soon as I hit 100 I win? Or does this have to go into my deck and I play it?
That could have made a huge difference.
Yeah, because that's a huge difference. That
Could've
we were
given
just
one more turn and
yeah,
I could've
we
killed
discussed
you
it
on that
before
turn.
the game that we were going to play as soon as you hit 100, you win. But that could be something.
Yeah, because you would have been dead
really
on
didn't
my
have
turn.
clarity on. Yeah, because I wouldn't have survived another turn around the table the way things were, and that would have changed. But that being said, I think we all liked the length of this game.
Yeah.
Like, I think
It's like
we all
40
felt,
minutes compared to like 2.5
I think we all
hours or
felt that
2
we had
hours.
something to do, and it did get to the point where like, oh, if we don't stop Ryan, he's going to win this turn. But then I just won, and we could have played another game, real quick.
Yeah.
Like I felt that was short enough that I'm excited to, maybe play another game real quick. Say, okay, this time don't let him get away or attack him earlier, and I'm going to put some ships out earlier because I also got a little lucky too at the end.
This game, there just felt there's
but
a
it
clock on
did-
this game. There's
yeah.
a clock on this that there's not in the other scenario.
In the
that
just
we
kill
played
everyone
that-
scenario, that without anything other than people. The problem is the person who's ahead in the combat scenario is the person who has the scariest ships on board, so you don't want to attack them.
Right.
Here,
It gives you a direction.
right. I was clearly the person to attack because I had the most credits, and whoever had the most credits wins. But but I also had, I didn't have the best fleet either. So now I was a good person to attack, and using your turn to attack me felt worth it. I mean, you were really only one card away from killing me and making it a different game.
The one thing I will say about this, like the design is like you have it going all the way up to 900. Is anyone ever going to make it up that high?
Yeah, it seems a little.
What's the deal with that?
Just for
Little bit overkill.
To
Yeah,
be symmetric.
Yeah, to be symmetrical, but
But so with this next question, does the game elements match the theme? I actually felt like this version of the game matched the theme a little bit better in the idea that trade world, we're all working towards banking and trading and getting this stuff
Right.
a little bit better, and we don't want somebody to become this monopolize the industry or whatever, and so we're going to take you out if you get out of hand. So it felt a little more themey than the last time.
Right. And I honestly feel in that game there could have been a scenario where Colin could have talked Adam into giving him a ship that he could have
Yeah.
crewed that he could have gone after me with or something like
If we
that.
could trade
you
it.
If we could actually trade.
Yeah.
And
Or I had cards, like I had the card that Adam needed in my hand that would
Right.
have killed you on that turn. If we could have traded, that would have.
right. And that puts an interesting aspect into your deck builder where you could, if that trade was permanent, it wasn't just for that turn, here you can have this card, Adam. It's like, you have to give me something, you're going to kill Ryan with this card, but then we got to play the rest of the game, and I'm going to keep whatever it is you give me.
so give me 10 credits or something.
Or, yeah,
like,
or,
like
you know,
I will give you
trade-
10 credits. It'll make me less of a threat.
Right.
I'd have done that.
Yeah, I'll give you 20 credits to attack Colin this turn instead of me. Now you're up in credits, I'm less of a threat,
Right.
and I'm sending you after Colin. So I think there's some more opportunities there, although that is going to make the game longer a little bit. But
But that aside, I think that even this version was more thematic.
Yeah.
Even without those potential changes, this
Because you
version
have to
was
use
slightly
you
more
have to
thematic.
use the ships and you have to use the money.
And I think
Yes.
that this does have actually. So in the combat scenario, it's a combat only scenario. In this one, the option of killing everybody's always on the table. So
Right.
now we did have both options. We did have
Exactly.
the option of I was going for economic victory, Adam was going for military victory, and I think it made for a more interesting game. I not sure it's balanced though. I think we addressed the fact that it wasn't quite balanced.
So the next one is very similar. Does the game theme make sense or feel pasted on? Same as last time for me. Other than this is a little more thematic, but Right, slightly more thematic, but overall same. Any disagreement with that?
No.
No, yeah.
Do the cards have sufficient relevant information? The only new cards added were the scenario cards for Rise of Monarch.
And
we
achievement-
already
the
no,
discussed
achievement
that.
actually
cards.
they do need a little more information.
Right.
With just the final one.
Particularly the final one, there was,
Just the final one, I think.
and we even had the question of
No, I
does it
think that-
automatically go out? But that was just more confusion and
Yeah,
just.
I don't think it should.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are the cards themselves attractive to the gamer? The new cards are just as attractive as the old ones.
Yeah,
I
no
think they're
change
much
there.
better than the other expansion. They're much more. The utility is much greater.
Yeah, they're definitely.
Oh, then the
yes.
the
You can use each one of these
Battlefront.
cards in a way that can benefit you in a
Yeah.
really good way. So
Yeah, I
like
preferred using
I
those
like
better.
the fact that when I got this, I'm like, it's worth 5, but also I can discard this to draw 2 cards and get something
Yeah.
I need,
Yeah.
or I can buy 2
Did you get
cards
that one,
immediately from the deck, which really
The draw two.
helps.
I use it all the time.
yeah, that
So-
one was way good.
These cards are way better, and it made for a much better expansion experience for me.
So this one, discuss if the game played did not meet or met or exceeded expectations. This one, after comparing it from the last one, this one exceeded the
Right.
expectation
Exceeded my
I had.
expectations.
Yeah,
This
it
one was
was-
better than
Yeah,
I
agreed.
anticipated.
It was more fun than last time.
Yeah.
And
It
my
felt really
expectations were
imbalanced
based
to
on
me,
last
but
time.
it felt
Right.
Right.
It's not
it
perfect.
felt like there's a lot more in there. Like,
Right. This
oh,
just
just
needs some-
balance it. and
Yeah,
that's-
balance it. I'm a lot
far
more
more
interested
interesting.
as opposed to
Yeah, I would
change
say
this whole thing.
especially for Adams and I, for the destined and what is yours?
Yeah,
The dying ships, yeah.
Yeah.
Take back an
Those
attack,
two
take
need
back
to
an
have some kind of
defense.
an economic value in order to be competitive.
Did the rules cover the necessary details to play, or did it lack clarity?
But
whatever.
yeah, same as the
Same as
last
last.
time. Yeah.
What's your personal thoughts on the overall appearance of the game, cards and components? Again,
Yeah, same as the first time.
Your personal level of thinking and the overall level of downtime experience. This one actually had me thinking more. This one had me thinking about, okay, if I do this, it's better. And if I need to make sure that I'm saving up for certain things and make sure that once we kill this potential leader, I better have a way to win still.
But I feel like there was way less downtime also.
Agreed.
So
Yeah.
much better experience there. It's,
Do you feel more experience with the game would lower the amount of thinking and downtime?
I mean, but
we went through this game way faster too.
yeah, I mean, just the
but you could
I think
think
we're
things over
reaching.
more because you know the potential outcomes.
I think the more experience I get with this game, the better I know how to I
Right.
know how to draw or purchase.
Yeah.
I think
I think it will
increased
go faster
experience
and-
speeds up the game.
Yes.
So with this one, let's rate the game from 1 to 10. Again, 1 to 3 unacceptable, 4 to 6 average, 7 to 10 is good. Anybody want to kick that off?
Yeah, I mean, I think this definitely, last time I said 4 or 5, now I'm going to say 6. I definitely enjoyed that a lot more. I enjoyed the shorter playtime more. I enjoyed the, multiple paths to victory. And the and overall and the effectiveness of these cards these cards were actually effective as opposed to just like hey, it's 5 jewels.
And pretty much for all the same reasons, I would increase mine to a 5 definitively. So I was straight on 4 before. I would put this as 5, and it becomes more average. Again, still the same issues as before with the accessibility due to the graphic design, some of the issues with just clunky rules in general, and I'm not a huge fan of player elimination, and even though this one was a lot quicker and it was a lot more acceptable to me with the
Right.
length of time, I still am not a huge fan of player elimination as the way to win a game.
Right. Or as an option.
This would have been
I,
more than 2 times longer though if we got Ryan out.
Exactly.
And then got Colin out.
Yeah.
yeah.
It still had the potential to be just as long, but from the experience I had, I would put this at a 5 for me.
Sure.
Right.
I'd go with a 6. My only big complaint is I wish that there was a ship that could hold both a 5 crew and a 5 weapon. They may disagree, but
Yeah.
even if there's just one card in the deck that could have that capability, a 6.
Yeah, or just a one of in each deck that's like an ultimate card. Having 2 of your best cards in each deck that
can make
kind
an
of
ultimate thing,
dilutes
'cause
it. I think in a lot of games like this, you want that one, you want that legendary, you want that mythic, you want that ultra rare
Dumbledore.
card, yeah. You want your Dumbledore Blue Eyes White Dragon out there. And I can keep going.
Yeah,
But
because I had a handful
Please
of.
do.
You couldn't see my hand, but I had a handful of 5s. I had a 5 green, 5 red, 5 blue. So it's like, oh, I can
Okay.
make this gigantic, awesome ship. And
You got locked
the
out
reason
there.
I feel like you should be able to have that is because you have stuff like the Doomsday weapon that can get rid of it anyway. And there's potentially 6 Doomsday weapons that can be out there. So
Right.
we saw 4 during that last game. I mean, none of them hit, but it's like there's a chance you can get rid of that big ship. And with the buff cards, you can still get rid of that big ship if you have the right cards. So I think I would like to see that. I would also, the thing that kind of slows down the game is if you have 1s and 2s in your upgrade deck. I don't think we really talked about that in the last time.
Oh, yeah. having ones and twos in the upgrade
really
deck.
a buzzkill, especially in this scenario.
Yeah, I stopped
if
buying
you
those
start
ones.
off with 1-1-1-2 in your
One, one,
deck,
one.
so you're
That
like,
matters a lot, yeah.
in this particular, like you're screwed. You're like, dang, I have to buy these crappy cards,
And then I have
not
to
only
get
do
rid
I
of
have to
them.
buy them, but I have to use
Trash
the
'em,
mechanic
yeah.
to trash them. So I'm spending potentially 2 or 3 turns to get rid of these cards that, first of all, I have 1s and 2s in my opening hand. So,
And there's no even
and I don't want
guarantee
these
that
ones
you're
either.
getting-
Yes.
I can't wait to
wanna
cut those, and you're gonna make
I
me
wanna
buy
trash
more.
these ones, and you're giving me more I have to trash. And the problem is that you don't have the ability to cycle through these cards, which maybe you can make that a mechanic too, that you can put the top card.
Yeah,
Up to
I
the
was
bottom,
actually thinking that you
or
could just
spend
use your
credits or
roll
something.
for the turn.
Yeah,
to,
maybe one of your rolls is to.
I would say
cycle
flip
through.
all of them. You have to choose
Yeah.
all or nothing, and you can say, I'm just going to spend my roll this turn to reset my marketplace, and just do, everything gets a new
Everything
card
goes
on
down
top.
to the bottom, yeah.
And maybe even do that to your opponents too. You see an opponent has a
Right.
5,
'Cause
and you're
then-
like, I want to
right.
make them have a 1. Or like if you want to keep the 1s and 2s in, but
Yeah,
I
it
think
does
you should
give you
need to
some
take
more
them out. If
interesting
this is going to be
choices.
a way to upgrade and make you have a deck builder that you want to trash these, it's not. It's just going to slow down the game. It's going to make a 40-minute game a 2-hour game.
So you're a 6, Adam?
I'm tempted to give it a 5. I would give it a 5 based on this first experience, but I think as I think about it, it slips back down to a 4, a solid 4. I was between a 3 and a 4 before because I don't think there's any replayability in the parts that are fun to me. Because if we played it again, Ryan would just race for it, even if you balanced it. Someone would race, I'd go chase. And that's what made it more fun to me, was the chase, was the new dynamic. And in contrast to the last game we just played, yes, that experience was much more fun.
But an experience
if I
player.
played that 3 or 4 times, I'd be like, oh, let's just chase Ryan or whoever's
Well,
this one.
Well, I
and
imagine that
whoever's
would change
red.
our strategy as well into, well, we know we're going to get chased, so I better put out a ship before I run out for it. So
I
I'm
did the
gonna put
very
that
best I could have done. And I actually had great.
draws.
None of these were too big that I couldn't buy them. They were big enough to where I could have some meaningful damage, but I could never waste a turn on swapping out to get more damage. I could never, everything was set up as good as it could have been for me. Had all my cards been bigger, it would have destroyed my strategy. Had they been smaller, it would have destroyed my strategy. I did the very best I could and barely couldn't beat him. So
Right.
if I were you, I'd always run. If I were Colin, I might try a different strategy next time, or just try to do the one that I did differently. I don't know. It just the part that made it fun to me doesn't seem replayable to me,
Right.
because it's always the same. You run, I chase.
Yeah.
You sit in the middle, and hopefully I kill him first, and you have a chance to beat me. I just don't.
So Ryan's a 6, I'm a 5, you're a 6, and you're a 4 overall for this. Now, with the fun factor, does that change anything? For me, I'm going to say it's probably going to be a 5 as well. I would say maybe for that single experience, it would be a 6. But if I played that mode again, I could see it being a 4 or a 5 even.
Yeah, I mean, I won, and so that's always fun. So, yeah, I'm up at a 5 or a 6. I enjoyed it. But, yeah, it does seem, like Adam was saying, and it just runs into these, the Acolyte's always going to run out ahead. The Continuum's always going to have to chase. And, I'm just in general not a fan of the asymmetrical powers. They don't, if everybody can choose whatever they want,
this game or
no,
for in
period.
general?
I think
Okay.
I think it's just a bad design principle, because what it does is it makes you play the same game over and over again. If you have 4 people and all 4 people know the optimal strategy for each section, then you just put this game away. It's done, because then everybody just gets in, plays their role, and then it's just based on luck. There's no real decision. I know what my strategy is. Do I get the cards to act it? You know what your strategy is. Do you get the cards to act it? We all play out the same play over and over again. We all have the same role over and over again. I like deck builders, but you shouldn't have. As soon as I get this Acolyte card, my strategy's been decided for me. And that is a lot less interesting than looking at this and deciding my strategy, looking at that, deciding my strategy. Too much is decided about my strategy by my role. Roles belong in role-playing games where we're all working together to achieve a goal, and we can play different roles in that. And allowing people to choose two of the same, or just let everybody choose whatever they want. Everyone can choose Acolyte then, and now Acolyte's not a thing, and maybe being the one that chooses something different is an advantage. Just with games like this, the problem is there's an optimal strategy for each class, and if you're playing with a group that understands that, the game, you might as well just put the game away and find something else to do.
I'm going to
Find
disagree
another
with you
game.
in a general principle, but agree with you especially with what you're saying on here because I mean I love asymmetrical gameplay, but especially
this isn't-
for here,
this
this
is what's-
doesn't optimally do that.
Well, this is specifically what's called weak asymmetrical
Yes.
gameplay. It is not true asymmetrical gameplay. True asymmetrical gameplay is us all playing with different cards.
Yeah.
It's all playing, and in that case, one of my favorite games is Magic the Gathering. It's asymmetrical because everybody builds their own set of cards, but then you get to decide what your strategy is, and two people can choose the same strategy and see who's better at it, or people can choose disparate strategies and see which strategy is better, and that's much more interesting than saying these are the 4 strategies. That's it. Yeah. And each person everyone has to take a different strategy, and it has to be one of these 4. And so if you're going to do asymmetrical gameplay, do it. Don't just give everybody one little power and think that you've done any kind of thing to give variety or spice or roles to play. Because I'm not playing a role here, and I'm also not, all it does is define what the best strategy is for me, put it on a card where everybody can see it, and a lot of the fight is who gets to be this character.
Well, I would say just give us more options. If you're going to have an economic kind of a game, have I don't know, you can choose to gain 8 every turn, or you can choose, I don't know, more, I don't know, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but more for the battle scenario and more for the economic scenario, and maybe have you be able to choose between those, or maybe every
But it
turn.
doesn't matter once I'm this guy.
Yeah, but maybe every
That's
turn,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
That doesn't change the fact that that's still affected by this. So even if you give me more choices, the better one is still determined by this power that I get at the beginning of the game and doesn't change, which is, I do not like that as just a game design period.
I'm going to jump in and give my
Right.
opinion. I think that one instance was up to a 6 for me, but again, with me feeling like that instant can't be sustained, I would say I'm back down to probably a 5. So my fun factor is just a little bit ahead of my feelings of the game itself, but so.
I had more of a 4 experience on that, just because of I already
The
talked
traps,
about it.
yeah.
Being trapped and not being able to do anything. But I mean, I guess ultimately it's my own fault for pitching all my smaller cards so I couldn't make anything. But still, it was. That's what these guys ran into last game, is that they were unable to craft their hand to get what they needed, and I was unable to get out of that hole, and it just took too long, and I lost.
What else? Was that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. So overall, I think we all had a little more fun with this version than we had with the first version, but we still have some things that we'd like to see worked out and to make the game a better experience. But thanks a bunch, and keep up the good work.